Listen, this is a ceremony I look forward to every year because it's an occasion to get people in the room who've been working really hard all year long and over the course of their careers, and to say thanks. We have this morning, I went, as I often do, to an elementary school to talk to the kids and do a reading, and in this case it was the Lincoln School. And the question posed to me, I guess they're doing some like a civics lessons and studying government and whatnot. And so the teacher said, today's theme is public service. And so they asked me things like, why did you have fun being mayor? And I lied to them. I said, oh yeah, I have fun with it all the time. And, they're kids, right? So, they said, on the topic of public service, so what do you, why do you do it? And I said that I get to wake up in the morning and work with hardworking people who love the city of New Bedford and strive all the time to make it a better place. And I said to them, and I repeat this very pithy quote all the time because it's so apt. Martin Luther King said that everybody can be great because anybody can serve. Right? It's really an act of generosity to one's community to be able to do what we all get to do day in and day out, and that's just to get up in the morning and do the little things that make our community better, that make people feel like there's a stronger sense of belonging here, and these are the kinds of things that make life rich. To protect the public safety, to make the city look good and make it work underground and below ground, to make our buildings work well, to make the zoo and to make the airport and make to function properly. To make all the things behind the scenes go, elections and the financial end of what we do, to make sure that people in the community, especially those who have less, are getting the services they need. All these things, it runs the gamut. And as a team, and that's what we are, a team, we do it very well for the city day in and day out. And I defy people to compare us to cities of similar size and of similar tax bases, in other words, resources, and find one that does it better than New Bedford. It won't happen. It just won't happen. It's because of all of you guys and the people that you work with. We have a community. Our city government is a reflection of our community. We have a community of very hardworking people that are devoted to neighborhood, are devoted to one another, believe in the dignity of hard work, and are optimistic for a brighter future. And that's what makes it go, and that's what gets me up in the morning. I know that's what gets all of you up in the morning to do what we do. So I really, as we go through the ceremony, it'll be occasions to say thanks, and if I sound repetitive, it's for a reason, because I really mean it. With all that, let me also say a word, too, about, as a reflection of our efforts, the New Bedford Way, which we rolled out last year. It was a statement of values that came from you. And again, this is something, a statement of principles that you'd be hard-pressed to find in another city. We have tried, and I think successfully, to continue to cultivate through all of your work, a sense of a standard to which we hope that future generations in city government can aspire and maintain. And that is just to have a government that is thoroughly honest, that is responsive to the people who sent us here, and that is always striving to make things better. And again, we put it in writing. We put in writing that which you've already been doing, and so we're institutionalizing those practices, and that's the legacy we're all going to leave, which is, we're going to make the culture of city government a permanent one, a permanently positive one for the city, and that's what will play a big role in keeping the city going in future years. So thank you for continuing to believe in that cause and to work toward those values. With all that today, here's what we're going to do. So as in past years, I'm going to call up. Actually, there'll be a slight deviation from past years. We're going to call up department heads to say a few words about the employees in their departments who are being honored, and so that's the way we'll start, and we'll move as quickly as possible through this. By the way, I wanted to thank the members of the City Council who are here today, who are not only fund those things that we do through their appropriating authority, but also, are big supporters of what you do. Joe Lopes, Kerry Winterson, Linda Morad, all here today. I thank all of you for being here and in support of the city's employees, who I know you appreciate, work very hard. So with all that, let's start alphabetically with the zoo. So the zoo's getting a dispensation today because the USDA is inspecting the place. So if you see people looking around and scoping things out, we should just all be on our best behavior. But they have to attend to that. So let me call up Keith Lovett, and he's going to be recognizing Shara Crook.
The real reason is we basically said we would withhold food to all the attendants unless we went first. So
Yeah, right.
lunch is a result of us being here at the zoo today. I have the honor of, I guess the term is pinning, one of the employees at the zoo. She's the longest tenured employee at the zoo. She's being recognized for her 20th year here at the zoo. A lot of people think when you're working at the zoo that it's all glamorous, and there are some glamorous aspects of Shara's job, that she does get to spend a lot of time with Ruth and Emily and being around animals, but there's also an enormous amount of hard work that goes with that. There's a lot of heartache when animals die. There's a lot of things that you have to deal with. There's criticism of the zoo that Shara deals with as much as anyone. So it isn't all glamorous, but she's been a very diligent, consistent, great worker at the zoo. She's been very great to me as a person not from New Bedford, coming into the municipal zoo, to be able to guide me through the city processes. So we're very excited about that. And just with that, I'd just like to say, thank you, Shara. The best compliment I can give you is that as part of the director, I'm expected to be the face of the zoo, but if you think around the city, I think a lot more people think of Shara when they think of the zoo than anyone else. So thank you, Shara.
Where are the pins? Oh, okay. It's like, where are these things?
Thank you.
Thank you, Shara. Thanks, Keith.
Thank you.
All right, next up, as we return to the beginning of the alphabet, is cable access, and we have three people being honored today: Tom Sexton, Dan Cabral, and Sue Richard. And I will call up Jim Marshall for the honors. Jim. Wow. There's a rhyme and reason behind all this.
Thank you very much. One of the things that I just want to mention, and I'm going to, because I know the guys back there are sitting there going, you got to make this quick, Jim. You got to make this quick. So I'm going to talk about all three of them together. We've got Dan Cabral, 20 years, Sue Richard, 20 years, Tom Sexton, 15. They are the most senior members of Cable Access. Dan and Sue have been here since it began 20 years ago, because this is our 20th anniversary this year down there. So the three of them are invaluable to me, their resources, their skills. One of the things is when I came 5 years ago, the three of them very helpful to me just getting started, and I can't thank them enough. They certainly represent everything that the city is, that the city wants to be, and they want to put out a good product every day and highlight the good things that the city does every day. And really, that's all you can ask. So, first, Tom Sexton, 15 years, Mr. Public Access Director himself. If you have any questions about public access across the country, Tom's the guy to ask. He knows this stuff inside and out.
Congratulations, Tom.
Thanks, Tom. Dan Cabral, 20 years. Congrats, Dan. I think Dan was there when they actually started building putting the building up, so.
All right, now Sue has to leave from behind the camera.
Exactly.
very Carefully.
Sue Richard, 20 years.
Thanks, Jim.
One of the great things, too, is that we get to work with the mayor's offices, and these guys have worked with the mayors all, throughout the years, and they really get to know the mayor, and it's easy when we do the press conferences and stuff like that, because
Yeah.
these guys know what to do.
Yep, and they do a great job censoring awkward comments that I might make, and that's, oh, good. No, we have a tremendously professional cable access staff, and Dan and Sue in particular were there to turn the lights on 20 years ago, right there from the start, so keep it up, guys, great work. All right, next up, Dennis Farias will do the award for the city clerk's office, and this year it's Stephanie Mackheimer. Hard to believe that she's been at work at anything for 20 years. I mean, as a compliment. Where's Steph? Where is she? Oh, there she is in the back. But you guys are doing a great job, and the clerk's office is as well as it was running before. It's getting even better now. So you guys deserve tremendous credit, Dennis.
Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be here to just recognize Stephanie Mackheimer. She, in my very short time here, she has been, it's just obvious that one of the single biggest reasons, if not the biggest reason, the city clerk office runs as well as it does is because of Stephanie Mackheimer. The staff in that office, she has their respect. They follow her direction, they follow her lead every single day, and they follow her example. And I really can't say enough about Stephanie. Since the first day I got here, the day after I got appointed by the council, I just kind of popped in, even though I wasn't starting yet for a couple of weeks. And I just kind of went in to kind of get familiar somewhat. She already had things in progress for the transition. She was already ready to go. And I was amazed and impressed from day one, and I continue to be even more amazed and impressed with her every day that I work with her. So I feel very fortunate that I get to work with Stephanie every single day. So Stephanie, congratulations.
Congratulations, Stephanie. All right, thanks, Dennis. All right, next up, the department that skillfully keeps all of us out of trouble, consistently and reliably, and emphasis on skillfully, is the city solicitor's office. So I'll just ask Michaela to come on up and to recognize Maria Baptista.
I'm very happy to be able to give a 10-year pin to Maria. Maria is the first person that anyone sees when they come into or call the solicitor's office, and we get calls from everyone, constituents, people in the city. Maria is always friendly and effective, directs people the right way. We also are very deadline-driven in our office, and Maria is extremely conscientious and makes sure all the attorneys have all the information we need so that we can best serve the city. So I, like Dennis, am somewhat new to this job, and I want to thank Maria for all of her help in helping me understand all the processes in the city.
All right, so I'm not sure how to announce this one because the department head herself is getting a pin, and that's Cynthia Walquist for 15 years. Come on up, Cynthia. So Cynthia started with the city in 1999, and the breadth of activities that community service is responsible for has been significant and changing over the years. I mean, it's, I think a lot of folks know that a lot of what they do is driven by grant programs, and those change from time to time, as well as obviously the needs of the city and city funding for particular purposes, but it runs the gamut from homelessness services to after-school programs and health-related matters in the city. I mean, it runs the gamut. And so I just want to say thank you, Cynthia, for your skillful stewardship of the department over, no, it's not that many years, it's 15 years, but yeah, but in all seriousness, this is, we really appreciate all that you do and everything that your team achieves for people who need help, whether it's a homeless veteran or a kid who just needs a good program to after school, or someone who doesn't speak English very well, who just needs some direction. You guys are always there, so I just want to say thank you, and thanks for bringing your pin up, too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I just do a shout out to everybody back in the office, Council on Aging and Human Services, and all you guys, because we can't do anything without the help from the other departments, starting from your office and everybody else in City Hall. So this pin's for you.
There you go. All right. All right, moving into the Ds. So next up is a department that has undergone significant changes in the last couple of years, and despite those changes and the demands associated with those changes, has really transitioned seamlessly and has been very effective in what it now concentrates on. I'm talking about DFFM and the work they do in keeping our facilities looking sharp and running well, running efficiently, and also the work they do to maintain our very large fleet of automobiles, ranging from police and fire to virtually every city vehicle that you see out there. So I just wanted to say thank you for all of your hard work. Kenny's coming up. Kenny's got a pin for himself that he's be bringing, and you got one sharp tie on too, Kenny.
It's the only tie. Wear it to everything.
Thank you. You want these?
Yeah.
I don't know. You want these?
Yeah, just put them right there.
Not a good place. All right. So facilities and fleet management. I want to start by saying that everybody, the entire department, exudes teamwork. Without teamwork in a department like facilities, it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't exist. So everyone, I've been in a few offices throughout the years, and I have to say that our office staff here is amongst the best I've ever worked with, and that makes coming to work every day a lot easier and a lot more fun too. Although I know some of the people don't think I'm fun. So I wasn't planning on you. So individually, I'll call people up by name individually, and we'll give you a little bit of background on people. Thank you. First is Eduardo Medeiros. Ed's been an employee of the city since about 2008. Very talented carpenter. He's an important member of our facilities division. He demonstrates his commitment to teamwork every day by working side by side with the other skilled tradespeople in the department. Most recently, Ed worked hand in hand with another one of our employees that's going to receive a pin on restoring one of the city's 3 trolleys, trolley number 1. Yeah. Eduardo. Eduardo, thank you. Next up, Rafael Vega. So Rafael came to us as a result of Polaroid closing its doors. He's one of our roving custodians. I kind of like to call him our stealth custodian. I'll be in my office working, and all of a sudden it's like, he's in, he's out, everything's done, and I didn't even know he was there. He's just you know, accountability and respect are probably the two most appropriate values that Raphael shows daily. His approach to work is simple: get in, get your job done, get out, show other people the type of respect that you would like to be shown. And that's what he does every day, so I appreciate that. Thank you, Raphael.
I just want to take the opportunity to thank you, the city of New Bedford, for giving me the opportunity to show what I can do behind the room and the web map.
Carlos Arujo. Carlos is the man behind the curtain at the Lawrence D. Worden Central Garage. When Carlos took over as superintendent, morale was low, production was marginal, and the place was a bit disorganized. Carlos, through hard work, innovation, and accountability, has gained the respect of his subordinates, and he's fostered a sense of pride and teamwork among the many talented and skilled tradesmen that work for him. I want to thank him personally for a great job he's done up there, and I think that everyone that's visited the garage has seen a transformation of late. So, Carlos, thank you. Thanks, Carlos. Gina Rauch. Gina is another valued member of our team. She's currently assigned to the Lawrence D. Worden Garage, and she has been absolutely vital in helping to create a great positive and professional atmosphere at in the office. Gina is innovative and demonstrates her respect for others daily as she tackles many issues that arise from the management of a large fleet of vehicles. Behind every great man, there's a good woman, and that's Gina for Carlos. So we appreciate everything she does up there. Gina? Thanks, Gina. Thank you. Maria D. Vieira. Linda, as we know her, she's been an asset to our operation from the very beginning. She handles literally hundreds of electric bills and gas bills, and I don't know if any of you do that at home, you know what a great joy that is to pay the one gas and electric bill you get. She does that for hundreds of them every month for the city, among the many other issues that we throw at her. She's responsible for work orders. She's responsible to make sure that the events, everything that we have to do with the events is taken care of. She's a tremendous help to us and a great asset to the city. Accountability and integrity are a couple of Linda's attributes that we appreciate and we value. Linda? Thanks.
Thanks, boss.
Mark Bessia, another one of our talented carpenters, 20 years with the city. He's worked on numerous projects over the time. He's helped to improve city-owned facilities, helped to maintain city-owned facilities. One of the more recent projects, again, was the restoration of trolley number 1. He worked side by side with Eduardo throughout the winter on that project, painstakingly to every detail to make sure the trolleys look as they did or as they should. Innovation and teamwork. Carlos and Eduardo worked very hard together throughout the winter on that. Mark?
Where's your pen?
I didn't bring it.
Yes, you did. Congratulations.
Thanks, Mark.
It's not tight.
Thanks.
All right, so this is where I'll take over. Don't go anywhere, Kenny. So, I can't say enough about what Kenny Blanchard has done, not just over his 35-year career, but in the last 3 especially, while I've been mayor. I've asked a lot of Kenny, and I've asked a lot of his department in the last few years. We've had, as everyone knows, we've had tightening budgets as we've gone along, and yet, we've raised the standards in terms of the kinds of services that we believe we should be delivering to the public. And when it comes to facilities, when it comes to the garage, Kenny has stepped up and has led and has really grown into the position, and has really seized it. And it's the kind of leadership that, from my perspective, I like to see, but I also know that it's the kind of leadership that the public deserves. And he's right. The garage, went through the work of our mechanics and Carlos's leadership. It has improved markedly over the last year and a half after the departmental transition. And facilities are looking better all the time, and we're taking on new stuff. They're not only looking better and in better structural shape, they are much more efficient. We don't use as much gas and electricity as we once did, and that's continuing to improve all the time. And it's because Kenny really has bought into the New Bedford way, but also has really seized the initiative to make it happen. So Ken, I really just want to publicly thank you for all of your hard work and for all that you've achieved in the last few years.
Thank you very much.
All right, moving right along. So Ron LaBelle is crossed out and it says Zeb Aruda here, so it looks like you're pinch hitting today, Zeb. All right. So we have, so next up is DPI, and if you drive around the city right now, you will see, you get a glimpse, just a glimpse, not a full glimpse, but a glimpse of all the stuff that DPI is doing, and it goes from the north end to the south end and everywhere in between. The road work, the trees, as you walked into this facility, the landscaping here and elsewhere, lots of hard work, work on roads, work on literally thousands of potholes in the last few months. And then there's everything else that you don't see at the wastewater treatment plant, the water treatment plant, the underground work. DPI is a very effective construction slash water treatment slash wastewater treatment slash cemetery slash park and roadway outfit, and they get it done, and they've always had under Ron's leadership with Seb's assistance a culture that is all about getting it done. So it really there are a number of folks that are listed today in getting pins, and I think in part that's obviously it's a larger department, but it's also a mark of a department that has a culture that people want to be part of over the long run. So I want to say thank you to all you guys for making it happen, and call Zeb up to do the pins.
Thank you. I promise to be as short as possible. Just a general statement. It's an honor working with this group here to my right. I think they take the term public servants to the next level. It's a group that no matter what's asked of them, whether it's water, whether it's wastewater, whether it's forestry, whether it's cemeteries, parks, traffic signal, it doesn't really matter. There's never this is not my job attitude. It's what's best for the community and getting the job done. So thank you on my behalf. It's an honor working with every single one of you. Thank you. The first up is Jamie Pond. We'll do it a little bit different. Jamie, come on up. Jamie started with us about 5 years ago. It's funny because we talked about this today, and he says, hey, I remember the first day I started, I saw you in the yard, and he thought he was going to be a pipe fitter, and he came in, he started to weld. A week later, he was helping out the mechanic. A week later, a couple of months later, I looked at him and said, hey, you're going to go work in wastewater, in the pump stations. And he goes, And he just tells me today, are you kidding me? What did I do to deserve this? Right? But this is a New Bedford product, New Bedford success, right here, standing before you. Jamie today is our Assistant Superintendent of Wastewater. He's quickly, and within 5 years, become a true professional. It's an honor having him with us on the regulatory side, dealing with EPA, DEP. He does a marvelous job, and it's something the city's really proud of. Thank you. Ernie Raposa, come on up. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ernie is one of Jamie's guys.
Got hired at the same time.
Same day. Same time he got hired with Jamie. And Jamie works in our wastewater division, and quiet. You don't see, he doesn't make a lot of noise, just does his job. But you know what? A true professional in every aspect of the word, and thank you very much, okay?
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Roland St. Pierre, 10 years. Thank you, Roland. Welcome. All right, here, not going nowhere. Roland's the guy that shows up when we have an issue at home. And it doesn't, you know, when you flush the toilet and it's not going anywhere, and there's an issue, Roland's the guy that shows up. And usually doesn't leave until it's all resolved. And it's like magic. I'm going to give you something to think of. When you're up at Sassaquin Pond, the other end of the city, and you flush the toilet, how does it get to Fort Tabor? I want you to think about that, okay? Or magically, when you turn on a faucet, how does that water get there, okay? Those are your two thoughts from DPI for the day, okay? Well, listen, all kidding aside, Roland's the guy who shows up at your door front, and he doesn't leave until you're all set. Thank you very much, Roland. Next one is David Fredette, 15 years. Mr. Fredette, where do I start with him? David started at community development, ended up in environmental for a couple of years, and then ended up as the city engineer as he is now. And if you saw the word true professional in the dictionary, probably be a picture of David right beside there. He's truly a professional in everything he does. He will analyze everything to the nth degree, and I promise you, he does. He dots every I, crosses every T. He keeps us honest all the time. Truly an honor working with you, David. Thank you. Thank you. Aaron Capone, 15 years. They all try to run away, I noticed that. Erin's been with us for 15 years. First year she started in Treasurers in City Hall, and then quickly came up to, back then it was the Water Department, and now it's public infrastructure. And Erin works in billing. That's the people you call when you got problems with your water bills. You know, you're charging me too much, or you're not. Well, they never call, so you're charging me too little. But it's always, oh, the meter's not working or whatever. Erin's a person who takes care of it. She does a great job, true professional, comes in every day, helps out at the county, answers the phone all day long. By the end of the day, I look at the office staff and I say, God bless you. You know, you guys really do a great job for the city. Thank you. Next person is Manny Silva, 15 years.
Thank you.
Well, if a guy has a right hand, well, you're looking at it because he's standing right here beside me. I don't know where to start with Manny. He oversees most of engineering. He oversees all our projects in the city of New Bedford, contract work out in the field. He's on various boards for the city of New Bedford. True professional. When Manny goes on vacation, I lose a couple of more hairs that week.
Pretty soon.
Yeah, pretty soon, right? And because of everything he does for the city, He's a true professional, every sense of the word. It's a pleasure working with him. It's been my pleasure working with him for 15 years, okay? I started the year before, and you know what? When Manny showed up, things got a little bit easier, okay? A true honor working with him day by day. Thank you, thank you. Next one is Paul Montero, 20 years. Paul Montero. I see him every morning at 6:05 to 6:10. That's usually when I'm walking in, and he's already there. Okay, I know if he's not in, so I got to open the front gate. Okay, but Paul's there. I don't know. I mean, obscene hours of the morning, 4:30, 5 in the morning. Whenever he gets up, he's there. He just gets everything going for us. Okay. Besides getting everything going for us, Paul's the guy who oversees our meter shop. That's, the meter that counts the water that we don't know. At the end of the month, we got to pay every month. Paul's the guy that comes in and repairs meters, oversees that. He's in and out of people's homes on a daily basis. He's got to deal with contractors. He deals with the billing folks in the office. He's that middleman that keeps it going in our meter world, and a true professional every single day dealing with the public. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Diane Martin, 30 years.
Congratulations, Diane.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Stay right here. Diane, I know she's probably the most embarrassed right here. So we're going to make it nice and short. Diane works with Aaron in the same office and building, and they go through the same struggles every day. And I said, Diane, 30 years. And she says, yeah, I started when I was 12, okay? So you do the math, okay? So she's been there a wicked long time. But you know what? She does a great job. She's like a mainstay. I came in 16 years ago into the water department, public infrastructure, and it was Diane, okay? And everyone go see Diane. And she'll figure out how to figure out the problem every single day. Thank you very much, Diane.
Thank you.
Do a great job. Last but certainly not least, Kevin Amaral, 35 years. Well, I could have a field day with this one, but we're gonna keep it simple. When I first started, and I dealt with Kevin, 16 years ago, and I talked to him. I was afraid of him. I'll be honest with you. I was a little afraid of him, man. I was like, I ain't talking to that guy again. I mean, he's grumpy, right? He's grumpy. Right? Well, now he works for us, and it's kind of. He hasn't changed, by the way. He hasn't changed. But the fun part of it is this: that I'll say, Kevin, you got to get this, and this done. And he said, we got to do this, or we don't got time for that. How are we going to get this? And he walks away. And then 2 hours later, I'll get a phone call or a text message. It's all done. Okay? And that's who Kevin is. Okay? If you get past that, you'll know there's a professional there who really loves his job, who really cares about it, and that's all a facade. Thank you very much, Kevin, for everything you do. Thank you.
All right. All right. All right, next up is a department that is temporarily homeless, but will soon find luxurious new digs on the first floor. And that thanks to the hard work of our facilities guys. And I'm talking about elections, which does the hard work that we never tend to notice when, it comes time to go to the polls. It's an awful lot of work to keep it straight, to make sure it goes off without a hitch, and we happen to have an elections office that really knows what they're doing. So today, Sandy Vizina is going to come up on for Maria, who is on vacation this week, and we're honoring today Sherry Silva Santos, who's joined by her husband. Where is he? Back silently in the corner, for 30 years of exemplary service. Where'd Sherry go?
Sherry's right here.
Where's she? She's right there. Come on up.
Yeah.
I'm looking at your husband over. I thought he would. Come on up, Sherry.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Maria couldn't be here today, so, and I'm sure she feels bad about that, not being here, but it's really my gain because I get to be here to have Sherry, give Sherry her 30-year pin. I remember Sherry and I worked together when she walked in the door 30 years ago, so I have great feelings for Sherry, and she's a true friend. Maria took the time to write something up about Sherry, so I'm just going to read it for you. 30 years of service from the comedian, singer. She has an effervescent personality, always in an upbeat mood, great at diffusing tense moments. In the office, Sherry is the gentle guiding hand to the new employee or intern. Sherry makes the days fly by and bearable. Don't let her fool you. Sherry can act like a sergeant as she instructs the poll workers and tells them in no uncertain terms what is expected of them. During these 25 years working with Sherry, we have become a well-oiled, during the 30 years, I'm going to say, but maybe she did 25 years with you. Working with Sherry, we have become a well-oiled machine and make election process seem effortless. We are an exclusive club in City Hall since very few people really understand the demands and deadlines and state rules that we have to abide by. Sherry is a friend to all. Congratulations.
All right. Next up is the fire department. Chief Mike Gomes, come on up. We're very grateful for the fire department we have in the city, which is high performing and it gets more efficient all the time in an era of diminished resources. They really have set a high standard of excellence under Mike's leadership, and we have two firefighters today who are being honored. I'll hand it over to you, Mike.
Unfortunately, I think they had a last-minute conflict, so they're not here.
Yeah, come on up and
I'm up
say
here,
something.
and I'm
anyway.
going to basically talk about the two individuals that we're talking about here. Emmanuel Source, this will be his 20th year with the department. He started with us as a mechanic in the garage. Way back when, 20 years ago. So
Yeah.
he basically has been in a number of different divisions for us. He's on Engine 1 downtown, which is our busiest engine company. Somebody with 20 years of seniority doesn't have to be on the busiest engine company in the city, but he chooses to do so. So that's the type of individual we're talking about there. And the second one is Lieutenant Thomas Perry, who is a lieutenant down at Engine Company number 11 in the South End, and he is on Group B there. This year, or this winter, he was honored by the state of Massachusetts as a runner-up for Firefighter of the Year for a rescue that occurred in Clark's Cove, where we had a distraught individual who was going to do harm to himself and swam out in Clark's Cove. Under Lieutenant Perry's leadership, Engine Company 11 received the call, put Marine 11, which is their semi-rigid inflatable boat, on the back of Engine 11, proceeded down to the West Side Beach, put the boat underway, and were at the victim in under 14 minutes. That doesn't just happen. That's through training, practice, and being efficient and being professional at your craft. And they work at that on a regular basis. But 14 minutes from Station 11 on Brock Avenue, the boat was underway and at the victim. So that's that, and they were honored for that, and they were able to save that gentleman's life. So again, thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike. All right, next up is the health department. Where's Brenda? Oh, okay, all right. So I know Donna's here. So Donna Cruz, come on up. I hope you brought your pin, Donna. You have it, Sandy. Okay. Oh, all right. So you're going to stand in. All right. So Sandy Manning will stand in for Brenda. Our health department, just so people know, we have the health department, again, is another department that has a broad range of activities that don't always interrelate, but fall because they fall under this, such a broad mandate. They, we've seen in the last few years a much more robust effort to enforce the sanitation code, and that, I think, frankly, has made the city a cleaner place. They played a big part in the transition to automated trash service. The dental program in our schools is saving kids' teeth for a lifetime. That's a brand new program. And now through the Prevention Wellness Trust grant, they are undertaking a whole new set of prevention measures in the areas of addiction and mental health and a number of other things that are affecting our population. So they're making us a healthier city, and I'm proud of the work they do. And just ask you to come on up and say a few words on behalf of the department, Sandy.
Thank you all. It is a great honor that I stand here on behalf of Brenda Weiss to honor 25 years of service for Donna Cruz. Donna is a team player not only with our employees but with the rest of the city departments, as most of you do know. She is the backbone of our department. She makes sure that all the employees have their jobs to do throughout the day, and she stays with them, stands by them, and actually cheers them on. Donna is a backbone in our department, and we are more than happy to have her on board. Donna?
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Donna. Personnel. So there's one person in personnel who is receiving today's award, and that is someone who was referred to yesterday when I walked into the office. I won't name names, as the acting boss. I won't give it away. But the acting boss is a phenomenal boss and has been a phenomenal employee in city government for, hard to believe, 35 years. So Sandy Vizina is a true professional in every sense, but she's also someone who, has been. It's hard to believe you've been in city government since 1979, Sandy, but who is in the short time that she has been the acting director of personnel, has just shown remarkable judgment in a number of complex personnel issues and has really kept the train running in personnel. And I have to say, I am very grateful for all that you're doing and have done over the 35 years, of course, but in particular over the recent period, Sandy. And, you really, I think, set a wonderful example for everybody and your commitment to public service and the excellence with which you pursue that.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. I just want to really quickly say that I know that everyone feels and should feel that they have the best employees in their department. But for me personally, this was a giant transition when Angela Nato left, 40 years employee. Angela and I were a very well-oiled team. She was the bad cop, I was the good cop, and then she left. And, the staff knows it was, a giant transition. It was, they saw, definitely some stressful days. And if I didn't have them and I didn't have the support of them, I wouldn't have been able to get through this transition and be able to supply the needs and the services that our office does. And my whole office, I think the world of, but today I have Lenora Delgado, Sarah Fidelix, and Leslie Trahan, and without them I couldn't have done it. So I just wanted to say thank you to them. Okay?
All right, next up is the police department. So I'd ask the Chief Prevention to come on up. We have, I've said this at many ceremonies, it bears repeating. In my prior life as an assistant U.S. attorney, I worked with lots of police departments around Massachusetts and around the country, lots of law enforcement agencies. I built at state and federal levels, and that included the New Bedford Police Department. And so from my perspective as a federal prosecutor, I could tell which departments were effective and which ones aren't. And I was always proud that my police department, the New Bedford Police Department, demonstrated itself to be highly competent, highly professional, and just very effective. And not every community can say that, and very few, frankly, can. And so it's a tribute to the hard work that our department of our department on every day, and the leadership that we have with Dave and Dave, and the really the the quality of people that they're able to recruit and train up. So, so Dave, appreciate all the hard work, and you've got a few pins to hand out.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I start, I just have to take a minute to thank Zeb. Because up until today, I had never ever given a thought to where it went. I just left it and walked away. Now, I will never look at any other way but wondering now where it goes. Thank you for that, Zeb. I look forward to today because most of the year you think about the work we do on a collective basis, and one of a pretty good-sized organization that has a lot of people working together to accomplish their common goal, and that's to make all the folks that live here sleep well at night knowing that it's safe. But today gives us an opportunity to really stop and step back a little bit and think about the individual accomplishment that is necessary to get that done. And looking over the group that we have here today, I have to tell you I'm pretty proud to work alongside these folks. They really illustrate better than anyone as a group all the individual characteristics we look for and that we work very hard to get when we hire. And I think as we talk a little bit about each of them, you'll see some of what I'm talking about. But I think this group really illustrates all the things we try to do in the New Bedford Police Department. They do it every day, and they do it as well as anyone, and I don't think you'll find anybody better. So let's start with 10-year pin for Nelson Gonzalez. Nelson, come on up. Still going right. Let's try. Get back here. Nelson does probably one of the most important jobs we can do, and it's one that doesn't really get seen. He's done a number of jobs along the way, but this is the one I think is the most important because, in my mind, it's the single greatest investment that we can make in the future of this city. And Nelson has always stepped forward and volunteered to do background investigations on prospective hires. And every penny of investment we make at this stage pays off in hundreds of dollars over the next 30 years. It's just an amazing investment. And my direction has always been bypass them all. And Nelson, God bless him, has tried to live up to that better than anybody. But that investment's important, and I think the level of commitment and dedication that he's devoted to that shows in the quality of the police officer that you have now coming on the job. And for that, I really want to thank you.
Thank you, John.
Camille Anderson, come on down. Camille has been with us 15 years. Camille started as an intern, as I recall, in the domestic violence unit. Something that I consider to be a very, very critical service that we provide to the community. And she graduated up to now be the coordinator of that program, and she's been doing that exceptionally well. You can sort of like the Pied Piper. If you walk through the 3rd District Court, you'll find Camille walking down the hallway, followed by the little interns, and they follow her wherever she... I think sometimes she messes with them. And she'll take left turns and double back just to see if they stay with her. But all seriousness, there is really, in my mind, no more pressing problem for us than domestic violence. And in the police department, we take that very seriously. And it's been a commitment that we have worked to grow and remain as committed as ever to. And it's one that I've said over and over again. I think if there's a threat to public safety in the city, it's domestic violence. And the work that Camille and her staff do to combat that, to provide services on a daily basis to victims and their families is amazing. People talk to me about, oh, I don't know how you do what you do every day. It's going to be awful. And seeing the misery and pain that Camille and her staff have to deal with on a daily basis, it takes a particularly special person to deal with that. And Camille, you're an amazing example of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lisa Catterall. Lisa's been with us for 15 years and started out as one of the charter members of our dispatcher group. Probably the one job in the police department that I, under no circumstances, would ever want to do. If patience is a virtue, dispatching is saintly. You see and hear the worst side of human nature, and every bad thing that happens in the city you live through and deal with. But I think that job prepared her better than any I could think of for her next life, and that was as an administrative staff in the training division dealing with all of us. Talking about frying pan into the fire. But Lisa stepped into a job that had been done by one of the most talented and skilled people I'd ever worked with. And I was worried that those are some pretty serious shoes to fill. But Lisa did that seamlessly and has made that transition without any loss of the caring, the dedication, and the performance level that we saw in the past. She has been a great addition to our staff, and I've seen even improvement in the unit since she's been there, and I'm really happy that she's been there. It's been one of the smartest decisions I ever made. Thank you. Lois Picosa. Lois has been with us 20 years. Lois and I go way back.
Thank you, yeah.
Lois was my clerical assistant back in the days when I was a young captain with a whole lot more hair.
Yeah.
A lot more of me. A lot more. Yeah. And this is what you did to me.
No.
You can always count on Lois to get the job done. In fact, Lois took on at the time, one of the biggest technological tasks we've ever had, and that was to help us computerize all of our records and develop, in essence, the database of all the history of the police department's personnel. And that was at a time when none of us were really computer savvy. But Lois attacked that and went at it nonstop until we got it done. She moved over to other jobs. Now she's the face of the police department, if you will. A lot of times we come in and Lois is the first face you see at the window in the records room, and really does a great job of passing on the values that we've established in the cities in Bedford way, and provides that service to people as they come in. Oftentimes that first impression is the one that matters, and Lois provides that first impression that people take home with them, and for that, we're really grateful. Thank you, Lois. Mark Mahoney. It's really unfair for me to be standing here and talking about Mark. Mark's been with us 25 years, but not many people know this. Mark and I've known Mark since before I got on the job. Mark was working as a legislative aide up in Boston for a state representative to be named later. And I was bugging the hell out of him about when you people are going to start an academy so I can have a job. That drove him absolutely insane. And to show you the true character of what makes Mark who he is he never held that against me and took any revenge. But Mark is a department head in his own right. And probably no one better in the city that I've worked with over the years. No matter what major event, natural disaster, or calamity, Mark and his staff are there, putting in countless hours to provide the resources and support that the public safety departments of the city need to get their jobs done. And a lot of times, people talk about the trilogy of public safety with fire, EMS, and police, but it's really a four-part. And without emergency management, none of us would be able to do the job as we do. And Mark and his staff do an amazing job, and I think that's a great tribute to Mark and the commitment he brings to the job. He's also a great weatherman. I don't know if any of you know this or not, but Mark does better weather reports than anybody I know. And he's never wrong. Well, maybe one time, maybe that one time. But I think Mark is probably one of the true, really unsung heroes of this city. And I think we're all very, very lucky to have him and the work he does. Never looking for fanfare or accolades. He just shows up and does it. And that's an amazing, amazing job. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Chief.
Rick Resendiz. Lieutenant Resendiz has been with us for 25 years. And you know, I spent a great deal of my time. Every organization has someone who the boss generally looks at as his or her go-to guy. The one in any department or organization who you can count on to get things done. Now, for a long time, I like to think of myself as the one in the police department that fit that bill. There's probably a lot of people that would argue with that, but that's the way I see it. It's my story. I'm sticking to it. And if I have a flaw in my leadership philosophy, it's that when I have really difficult projects and really problematic issues to deal with, I generally find that one person who can get them done. And then I rely on them without fail, and I give them all the really hard stuff to do. Rick's that guy. Whatever I've given him, no matter how difficult, no matter how challenging, or whether it has absolutely anything to do with his assignment, his only answer is, "You got it, Chief," and off he goes and takes care of it, and it's done. From organizing clergy ride-alongs to coordinating with neighborhood groups, to organizing National Night Out, to overseeing the recruitment, background investigation, and training process, in-service training, the entire administrative function of the department. Rick's that guy. He does it humbly. He does it as respectful of people and their goals as anyone I've ever known, and it's a real privilege for me to not only work alongside him, but to learn from him. And so for that, Rick, thank you very much. Doreen Lee, 35 years. Doreen is the only one around in the department who's been around longer than me. Now I want you to look very closely.
I started at 12.
I think the Miles have been much kinder to Doreen than they have to me. What is it? Your genes.
It's the water.
Ah, right. But Doreen started, as many of you might remember, in the assessor's department. Then went to parking, good,
Traffic.
and then to the police department.
Yes.
There's a trend here. You seem to gravitate to the jobs that people will hate you for. Let's see, you tell them what their taxes are going to be. Tell them they got to pay their parking tickets. And they told me I had to pay their detail bills. And she did it with that same smile all the time that managed to get great results without upsetting anyone. And that's really the hallmark of what Doreen was able to provide for us over all these years and done it repeatedly. And for that, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Next up is the people who keep the money, and that's the treasurer's office. We're very grateful that they keep it so well and provide such responsive public service and are getting better all the time. And they're going to have their own new digs soon enough. They're next in line, Renee, right? So let me just call Renee up. She has 3 pins to hand out. Come on up.
Good afternoon, everyone. I always like to think of the treasurer's office as the face of the city. I believe that it's the most visited office in City Hall and truly one of the busiest offices in City Hall. When you think in terms of the fact that a $280 million city budget is inflowing and outflowing through that office on an annual basis, it's hard for me to even think that 5 years ago I was standing here honoring the 3 employees that I'm going to honor again today, because we have, I believe, one of the most difficult jobs in the city of New Bedford, where not only are we providing constituent services on an everyday basis, whether it's over the phone or face-to-face with customers, but we're also dealing with you and making sure that all of your daily stuff is done on a regular basis. So today I have 3 employees that I would like to honor for their longevity. Mark Fuller. Mark is my assistant treasurer. He's been with the city now for 10 years. I certainly think of him. If you'll come up, Mark, please. You can just look at me like, ah.
I was gonna wait.
All right.
Next one. Thank you.
So I certainly think of Mark as my right-hand guy. Certainly, when I'm busy doing other things, he serves as my liaison to all of my banking counterparts and the professional relationships that I maintain in the city. Mark also is very, very instrumental in a lot of the cash flow issues that go on in the office, and also, technologically speaking, is pretty savvy with what we have. I'd just like to say at this point, as many as you know, we're actually going through a very huge financial and technological change in our office. And over the last 2 years, that's also been very challenging because we've been working between two systems in our office, trying to upgrade to our new Munis system and still trying to maintain our old city system, legacy system, where a lot of our work has still been. It's, you know, for my frontline girls that work out there, that have to work every day between two different systems, keep everything straight, and then at the end of the day, bring it all back together. It's pretty amazing what they can do and still serve the customers with a smile on their face and come back the next day. So, Teresa Andrade. Teresa is a... Teresa is a 10-year employee with the city, okay?
15.
Oh, I'm sorry,
15.
Teresa.
Come on.
I'm sorry, 15 years with the city, Teresa. And many of you know Teresa because as you come into the office, she's the one that's standing there at the very first counter every morning with a smile on her face and always ready to help.
Always.
Help everyone, okay? You know, with a very good attitude. And we're very happy to have Teresa in our office. Okay. And lastly, my most senior employee in the office, Brenda Duart. Okay. Brenda has been with the city for 25 years, not all of them in the city treasurer's office, but we certainly are very happy to have Brenda. Brenda does a lot on the back end with telephone calls, and she is my excise tax guru in the office. So a lot of you probably do speak to Brenda on a regular basis on the telephone, and you know, she's very, very accomplished at what she does. She's very conscientious, and we're happy to have Brenda with us for all of these years also. And one more shout-out. Okay. So I just want to acknowledge today also the 20-year service of my newest employee in the office, Carol Days, that couldn't be here today. I certainly think that I shouldn't probably be the one giving Carol these kudos, as she's only been in my office for 5 months. I know that she spent some time at DFFM, and I know that she spent a good deal of time at DPI. But I certainly want to say that I am extremely happy to have Carol in my service these days. And Carol, when you see this on cable, thank you so much.
Well done. All right, last but not least, we return to the beginning of the alphabet for reasons that will be clear to everybody in a moment. And that's with the assessor's office, which is, if the treasurer's office is the place that keeps the money, the assessor's office is the one that brings it all in. So we really appreciate all of their professionalism and their hard work. And there is an awful lot of hard work and a lot of assessing. There's a science to assessing, but there's also an art, and they do it very well and very skillfully. And you know, I've really been pleased with the leadership of Carlos Amato. I mean, he was a guy who had so much experience coming into the job, but still challenges ahead when he stepped in, and he's been able to manage them very well. So we've got 3 pins to hand out. And one very special one. So, Carlos, without any further ado.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I'm glad I didn't have to follow Chief Provencher, but it's fitting that I follow the Treasurer's office because we tax them, they collect them. So it works. And when I hear, you know, other departments talk about having to answer to, like, other regulatory agencies, I sympathize with you because we also have to answer to a higher power, and that's the Department of Revenue, so, you know. Okay, for her 10 years of service, I will call up Mrs. Yvonne Rosa. Will you come up, Yvonne? Should be giving you this.
That's Marty's.
That's Marty's. There you go.
There you go. All right, now it's official.
Now it's official. There you go. Stay here. Yvonne has been with us a year. Actually, she started with us May 5th, which is also your birthday, right? And before that, she had spent a few months with the treasurer's office, and prior to that, several years with the school department where she began her career. Yvonne she's an efficient worker, and complements our staff very well. And she has been a great addition to our assessing department. And she's going to play a very important role in the future of our department as we go forward. And we are very happy to have Yvonne as part of our team. And I really appreciate it. Thank you for your dedicated service. Next up, for his 20-year pin, Martin Treadup. Of course, we know Ms. Marty.
20 years, boy.
We were in school together, weren't we?
Oh, that was your dad. That's my father.
When you were kids, huh? Now, the Board of Assessors, back in the late 80s, early 90s, they've gone through a lot of changes. But in the mid-90s, it began a positive transformation, and Marty became part of that transformation over the years when he was elected for his first term as a member of the board. And he has continued to be a positive influence to the board and to the department, to our department. And Marty was elected to his fourth term in the last election, and he has done an exceptional job representing the taxpayers of the city of New Bedford. And I sincerely hope, Marty, that you continue to do so. I know you might have been thinking of retirement somewhere down the line, but hopefully not. We like you where you are, and I really thank you for your dedicated service. Thank you. And now, where do I begin? I was going to start with year one, but I'd still be writing. So, but if you will help me, we will ask Dorothy Burgess to come on up here. Now, if you don't know by now, Dorothy is receiving her 40th pin for year service. Now, Dorothy started in the assessing department in March of 1974. Yes, I looked it up. March of 1974, March 21st to be exact.
That's right.
And on the way up here, and she also told me that she had spent 23 years with Errol Vox.
Oh, yes.
And
I'm not telling you my age.
3 years.
I started here early.
3 years with
Cornell.
With Cornell, a year with the state, and I started adding up after then I couldn't take it anymore. I didn't have a calculator, so I stopped. And I looked something up. It has nothing to do with anything, but the songs that made the #1 chart in March of 1974 was Seasons in the Sun by Terry Jacks. I think that might have been one hit wonder. I don't know. The other one was Dark Lady by Cher. That's not you though. No. But this one I think is a little bit more like you. It's Sunshine on My Shoulder by John Denver. That's you're a sunshine, because you're the sunshine. Now Dorothy, has been responsible for. I can name everything that we do in our office. She's had her finger on it, whether it from excise, auto excise, bulk excise, betterments, applications for abatements, exemptions, deeds, whatever it is that we do in our office. Dorothy has done it one time or another and continues to do it. Now it's been 40 years. Actually, it's been more than 40 years, right? But now Dorothy continues to be a shining star among us. You know, and I sincerely hope, Dorothy, that God continue to bless you with good health, because so that you can continue to brighten our day, you know, every day, you know, because you are there. Dorothy is in the office 7:15, 7:20? About that every single day. Every single day of the week when she's working, she's there. So if you come in at 7:30, you have not beaten anybody. She is there, the lights on, she's there. Okay? So no one comes into the office unless you come in at 5 o'clock. You're not going to come in before Dorothy. Yeah, and Dorothy, I've been blessed, you know, to been part of, you know, working with you. And our birthdays are actually very close. You know, it's only less than 3 weeks apart.
The difference, though.
Yeah. So, you know, we're good. We celebrate our birthdays one after the other. You do yours, and then mine come up. But she gets a cake, though, I don't.
I get one every year now.
Yeah. So.
Usually it's 5 and 10 years.
Yeah. So well.
Thank you very much.
It's all yours. You want anything you want to say?
Well, let me say something. So Dorothy, we have your 40-year pin, of course. We also have. We also have your little something else as well.
Oh, isn't that nice?
You don't give these away like candy.
You don't.
No, you know we're so proud of you. We aspire to be just like you, Dorothy. We really do. And
do you want to tell my age?
Yeah, so she's going to turn 60. And we're going to, no, I'm not going to give away your age. That would be rude of me to do that. I did on the radio, yeah. I give you a shout out for your 59th birthday last year. But we're so proud of you. We're so proud of your constancy, your dedication to high standards, and the example you set for everybody. And I can't say enough about it. We're just so proud that you're part of the team. You bet.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that if there's a major disagreement in the room, it's among the department heads, because each one of them believes that their team is better, and that's just the way it should be. But it means that that's just mark of teamwork. That's a mark of really striving to do well. You know, we do these ceremonies year in and year out to mark the dedication of folks at different milestones. But what people should know is that, you know, city employees in this city, at least, are here for a long time because they are good at what they do. The folks who are not so good at the jobs when they enter this place don't stick around for 5, 10, certainly not 30 or 40 years. So it really, understand that. Longevity is also a reflection of commitment and excellence, and that because we have very high standards here in New Bedford, and I appreciate all that you guys are doing to raise the bar, because that's what the folks in our city deserve. So thanks a lot. I don't want to keep you from your work any more than I have, but I appreciate it. Have a good weekend, everybody.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Letting my friends online know I was quitting kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
I kept on trying, learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
We did it. You can too.
For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.